You're also the chair of the Conference Finance and Administration Committee.
Yes.
Thank the Lord for doing that. So you've had, Dan, under your leadership, the conference is doing so much better. The tithe method was a real success for this conference. I think it made congregations just connect in a different way to the conference. And so I really appreciate your leadership in that. And man, you guys worked hard in trying to communicate how that was going to work. And I think you said it 50 times a day. And then you hired flyovers with banners behind planes. And you did everything you could, and you did a good job.
Yeah.
And now you're having to face a time when churches are, well, it's not across the board. I mean, some churches are doing well.
Right.
And other churches have just been hit harder than maybe ever before financially. Right. So this week you published a letter to the congregations of the New Mexico Conference. And again, well done, sir. You just hit the nail on the head in so many different ways. What's it like for you to be the chair of that committee right now? And
first I'll say I'm thankful for Griselda Sandoval, our treasurer, who, handles all the technical side of things and just does that with a great spirit. And then Randall Parton is our provost. He and I just have conversations regularly, and he's very helpful to me from his perspective. And so, and then of course we got the committee of both lay people and clergy, small, middle sized churches, and people who've served longer than, they supposedly should have, because they just care about that dynamic. So, this isn't a Dan Boyd show. This is a group show. I just happen to be the chair and, have responsibility to kind of put it all together and lead at times. And then even the idea to go to the tithe model was not just mine alone. Jeff Lust, who was provost at the time, and then the consultant that we brought in to help us understand it, was very helpful for us, both in the ideology of it and the communication of it. So that the couple of dynamics for me is, one, the challenge we have as United Methodists, because we are a connectional system, and we are not ships on our own. We have an identity and an understanding that we are a bigger body together around the world. But honestly, in these kind of challenging times, at some point you have to go, what has to be priority in the midst of these shakings and challenges? And part of the genius and to me, one of the dynamics of the tithe model is why I own it personally is, honestly, it puts the priority and the focus for us as a denomination back where I think it should have always been. And that's at the local church level, because I know we have a national or an international and denominational identity, but where discipleship happens, where the gospel is lived out and shared, is not in the bureaucratic meetings of some council of the church or committee of the church. It's in the local pews of the people that follow Jesus as United Methodist Christians. And if we have to make a priority choice between the survival of the local church and a reformulation and shaking of the denomination, I'm going to vote for the local church over the denomination any day. Yeah. Because if the local churches go away, the denomination goes away. And that's kind of one of my mindsets. And so that's why we've tried to say, as conference leaders and even the CFNA, we're trying to lead with you in mind and what's going on in your environment, and not take the financial side of the life of the church as somehow you have to support us as a denomination. No, you are the denomination. How can we help you guys? And if that means we're going to take some reserves and let you spend the money that comes in a tough time in your local area, then that's what we're going to say is the most priority. So that's one dynamic. But I also have to wear that hat of someone that cares about the denomination and knows, I believe we are stronger together than separate. And so how do we hold each other accountable to our identity and our vision to be as faithful as we can to our common life together? And it's hard at times, honestly.